Coordinator Jeff Ulbrich admitted to being behind the call made to Shedeur and apologized to him in an Instagram post on Sunday. The NFL looking into the situation, specifically how Sanders' private number was leaked, our source is telling Adam Schefter. So the Falcons released this statement on the matter Sunday. It reads in part, the Atlanta Falcons do not condone this behavior and send our sincere apologies to Shedeur Sanders and his family, who we have been in contact with to apologize to, as well as facilitate an apology directly from Jax to the Sanders family himself. Stephen A.
Mm-hmm.
Can I just say one thing?
Go ahead.
This was classless.
Okay. You're right, first of all. Secondly, I have a rhetorical question. Where is the picture of the kid? See, it's not criminal, but it's unethical, it's classless, it's amoral to some degree, and I'd like to see the face of that kid, because sometimes you need to be embarrassed. That's what needs to happen to you. Now, in my opinion, this kid, I sincerely hope, to Jeff Ulbrich, I sincerely hope he whipped his kid's ass. That's an ass whipping. That is a required ass whipping. So your dad is a defensive coordinator for the Atlanta Falcons. You go into his laptop computer and find a number for Shedeur Sanders. You prank call him. First of all, it was cruel and it was classless to Shedeur. It jeopardized your dad. What if the Atlanta Falcons didn't believe it was your dad, that it was just you? What if they had believed it was him? And I don't believe that for 1 second. I don't believe the defensive coordinator for the Falcons. I don't believe that man did. I don't believe he had anything to do with this. I think it would be unfair to accuse him of that. But what if the Falcons didn't believe him? What if the NFL didn't believe him? Your dad could have lost his job. And because you want to prank somebody, okay, and be cruel and insensitive, knowing what Shedeur must have been going through, you would be some privileged little brat that would do something like that and take joy out of somebody's misery like that at the expense of your father right now. Who was thinking about? We've talked about a lot of things in football. Have we ever talked about Jeff Ulbrich? Have we ever mentioned him on national television? But he's a household name this morning because his son didn't think about his daddy, who unquestionably loves him, took care of him, raised him. You in college now, no doubt still living off daddy, and you would do something like that to him. You should be ashamed of yourself. You should have your ass whipped. I know you're 21. But at the very least, roll up on campus and slap you upside your damn head. What an insensitive thing to do. And even just as equally to Shedeur is what he did to his own father. At no time did he think about the consequences, the potential consequences. This could come back to my dad since I got it from his computer. It ain't like you got Shedeur Sanders from one of your boys or something. You went into your dad's work computer. And did this.
And it wasn't just any kid. You tried to pile on someone's pain.
Yeah.
I'm going to correct both of y'all. I don't like the fact that everyone keeps using kid. You a grown-ass man. You're 21 years old. For you to go out and access your father's laptop, private information, and then go out there and humiliate Shedeur Sanders on a weekend that's supposed to be festive.
That's already humiliating.
That's already humiliating, and you're going to pile up on top of that. Don't give me this, oh, it was just a prank, oh, it's no big deal. No, that's BS. That's BS. He should be absolutely ashamed. And Steve, now I agree with you. That's something you should get your ass whipped over, to be honest with you. Like, I know my folks would have whipped my ass
That's right.
over something like that.
Absolutely.
Because it's unacceptable. It could have cost your dad his job. Mm-hmm. Now, fortunately for him, the Atlanta Falcons had some grace about it.
That's right.
And decided, you know what?
As we all do.
As we all do.
We believe Dad didn't have anything to do with
this. That's right. The Falcons provided grace, but I'm not here to let him off the hook one iota. It's embarrassing. He should be absolutely embarrassed and excoriated for the actions he took to embarrass the Sanders family that weekend.
We see Shedeur's face on TV all the time. He's 21. We should see his face. That's the kid who did that to Shedeur Sanders. That's the kid who did that to his daddy. Don't let me find this picture. I'll put it up right there. You should see exactly who he is. He should be ashamed of himself.
Lewis?
Go ahead, Lewis.
Yeah, you know, see, this is, to me, it's indicative of, I wouldn't say all family. There's a lot of people out there who really don't have respect for players in their journey, what it takes to become a pro, the kind of, and the army of people behind you, the kind of people that make the investment that people make in you, the investment that you make in yourself, the trials and tribulations, the ups and downs that you experience, and it all gets culminated right on draft day. You see the emotion. You see guys breaking down and flat out on their knees crying, saying, you know what? I have dreamed about this day for my entire life. I know exactly what that day feels like. I was on the other end of it. I got drafted in the 9th round. I wouldn't even been drafted in today's day and age. And I'll tell you what, it was one of the most emotional times in my life where you start questioning yourself as a man, as an athlete, as a human being, what your worth is. You start feeling as though you let down your family. So all those things, you can best believe. Don't get it twisted. Don't think that Shedeur, because of how happy he was when he got drafted, of course he's happy. Can you imagine the kind of emotions he was having that day? Can you imagine the kind of emotion his father was having? And then you're going to play a joke on him? You're going to call him and play a joke on him? Jeff Ulbrich is a former NFL player. Jeff knows what the sacrifice is, what it takes to play in the NFL. I'm sure his son knows what his father did in order to reach and attain the level that he reached as a player and now as a coordinator who was an interim head coach who still has aspirations of being a head coach. And for you to kind of like just say, hey, you know what, I'm just going to get with one of my buddies here and I'm just going to play a joke and I'm going to take this number here and on draft day I'm just going to mess around. I'm just going to mess with Shedeur Sanders and his emotions and all the things that his family's going through and potentially jeopardize my father's career. And you know what, I'm just going to disrespect all the things that I know about what my father went through to become a professional football player and to become a defensive coordinator and hopefully become a head coach. What that speaks to is just how desensitized people have become when it comes to professional sports and the fact that you're talking about human beings here who make some of the kind of sacrifices that you could never make. Because I couldn't imagine me myself saying, hey, you know what, as someone who has been at the very bottom to try and ascend to like some level of success, I could never imagine going, you know what would be really cool? I'm going to play a joke on someone like this and pretend that I'm a GM and I'm drafting you when actually I'm not. And then I'm going to hang up and just giggle about it. I mean, what the hell are we doing? Seriously, what are we doing when we think that kind of crap is funny?
I don't know. Trying to get likes on TikTok.
I don't have the right words for it.
Right. Lewis, I'm going to say this to you.
I don't have the right words for it.
You can't say it any better than you said, but I'm going to tell you what you just did for me. That picture of his son that I could assure you I would have found within the next couple of hours. I'm not going to do it just because of what you just said. And you know why? Because his dad doesn't deserve that. Jeff Ulbrich, a former NFL player, with what Louis Riddick just highlighted, regardless of what his son did and what his son deserves because of it, that's for Jeff Ulbrich at this point to handle. Because of what you just said, Louis Riddick, I'm not going to show a picture of his son, just as a testament of respect to Jeff Ulbrich and what he obviously is going through right now because of how insensitive his son is. That is already alarming and disheartening enough. Jeff Ulbrich doesn't deserve more than that. I will not show his picture.
Alarming is a great word as well. All right, let's leave it there, gentlemen.
Các bạn, cách làm một chiếc mũ mini cho búp bê nha. Nguyên liệu của mình cần có chính là len. Mình sử dụng hai màu sắc như thế này để làm nhé. Màu cam và màu xanh da trời sẽ kết hợp lại với nhau. Sử dụng kim móc len để làm nha mọi người. Và cả kéo nữa. Rồi giờ mình sẽ bắt tay vào làm. Đầu tiên thì mình sẽ sử dụng cái phần len màu xanh này trước nhé. Mình sẽ móc một cái hình tròn trước. Rồi bây giờ sẽ móc vào đây, cứ từng mũi một cho đến khi được hình tròn thì mới dừng. Đấy, móc vào đây, mũi nửa kép như thế này nhá. Cứ luân phiên từng mũi cho đến hết. Móc tiếp xuống nữa này, lần lượt cho mình. Rồi, mũi tiếp theo nữa. Mọi người cứ luân phiên như thế này là được nhé. Rồi mũi nữa này. Luân phiên cho đến hết. Mũi tiếp. Đấy, mình sẽ móc được nửa hình tròn rồi này. Mình móc nốt nửa bên này cũng y như vậy nhé. Rồi móc tiếp xuống này, cứ từng mũi một cho mình. Tiếp tục móc nhé. Đấy, móc lần lượt từng mũi này là được. Mình móc tiếp cho đến khi được hình tròn mới dừng nhé. Mũi tiếp theo. Rồi mình sẽ móc nối vào đây và siết dây. Móc nối vào này. Đấy, mình sẽ được một cái hình tròn như này nhé. Đó là cái chóp mũ đấy. Bây giờ mình sẽ móc thêm thêm một hàng nữa để mình làm cho cái chóp mũ này nó rộng thêm ra nhé. Hàng này thì mình sẽ móc với tỷ lệ là 1-1 nhé. Một mũi vào một chân, sau đó là 2 mũi vào một chân. Đây, móc tiếp vào nhé. Đây, móc xuống. Móc cứ luân phiên từng mũi cho mình. Mũi tiếp theo.